All right, and welcome to the newest episode of Gold Rush here on YouTube on the JTR Podcast Network. This is Mark Rebin coming to you from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois, joined by my buddy Jabari Sinclair. Bari, it's been a shitty week for professional wrestling, to say
Man,
the
yeah,
least,
it's been a rough one for us here fans in the wrestling world altogether. Yes, it has been. Man, ugh,
and it's covered all ages, all eras, all kinds of. It's just crazy. Uh,
definitely right. Not very often do
yeah,
we have back-to-back passings like this, and yeah, it's been a tragic week.
yeah. But we're gonna power through. We're gonna keep this episode as quick to an hour as we can, Bari, because I know there's a lot of people that are probably going to watch SmackDown tonight, considering they're doing the Big Bray tribute. So we'll try to respect that. But just as a cheap plug, join us on our on Jumping the Rail on Tuesday, a special episode. We weren't going to be going live this Tuesday, but I feel like we had to, and we're going to talk about both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt for the whole show. So feel free to jump in with us and listen and comment, all that good stuff. But that's for Tuesday. We have business that we've been putting off for the last. That's like this episode was never going to come, Bari.
I know, right? Life,
And
man, life gets in the way of things.
that's true. That's true. But we're going to talk about one of our favorites. Number one, not only one of our favorite belts, but we're both big fans of early 90s WCW, uh,
Definitely.
just going back. So today we're going to talk about the 1991 to 94 World Heavyweight Championship. Uh, designed out of haste because Ric Flair took the big gold and went north, so kind of left WCW high and dry, not having a belt.
Exactly right. He showed Jim Hurt a thing or two, didn't he?
Yeah, you you say who you want to be at fault. I mean, I don't blame Flair if he was owed money, if like with interest to send the belt back with the deposit the NWA used to do. But uh, but yeah, hey, but if he hadn't done that, we wouldn't have this belt. So I guess there's
Exactly.
a couple of things debuted in summer of 1991 after Great American Bash when Luger beat Wyndham to win the vacant title. Of course, when he won the match in the cage, this wasn't used. This belt wasn't there. It wasn't done yet.
No, it
So
wasn't. Oh, look at that
they've
beauty right there.
yeah. This I guess this belt was Dusty's. It was from PWF, which was I believe his territory at the time. So
Right.
they just threw a crappy plate over the top of it. It says World Championship Wrestling.
God, look at those side stickers peeling off.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean it's they worked with what they had to like, to get through this show. But yeah, that's not a great belt. That's right up there with that fake big gold that uh, Flair had that just said NWA in big letters on it.
Yeah.
That's
God,
that's right up there.
they're
Uh,
just gaudy.
very gaudy. That's a great word for it. Uh, so in doing my homework, because I didn't know a whole lot about the making of this belt. I know Reggie Parks designed it, uh, and I know that it was designed based on the Winged Eagle. Just give another look at it real quick. You can see a lot of similarities, but you see they don't have the sidebars on here. They've got stars all over it. They didn't use the stars on the WWF version, so it's similar enough to get likened to. Plus, there's no eagle on it,
No
which
eagles at all.
yeah. So that's what they went with. And in doing my research, I reached out to beltsbydan.com, a very prominent belt maker in the United States, and asked for some facts, some information about this belt. And this is what they sent back to me. I'm gonna read this. This is gonna be directly from the message they sent back. So if there's any grammar or anything, it's not on me. Okay, so here it's when Flair left, WCW called Reggie and asked for something similar to the WWF Winged Eagle design. No idea if it was already made or not. I'd asked if it was a design Reggie already had in the can, and then just and he said he wasn't sure. Reggie and his etcher Ted Miller did the designs together using paper templates and clip art books. So okay, explains the stars. uh, Obviously, the belt wasn't done in time, which is why they used the belt from Dusty Rhodes PWF with those ugly trophy shot plates over it to use temporarily while the new belt from Reggie was ready. So so he knows. I don't think anybody's ordering a bootleg copy of that Dusty belt from
Right.
uh oh, this will kind of answer some questions that we usually get to at the toward the end. Flair kept the belt and sometime around 2009 had his lawyers sell it in a combination deal with the gold ring robe. So the package deal was for 20 grand. It was purchased by a collector who then split the items up and nearly doubled his money. So
Oh
that's
well.
that's not a bad way. Let's see. I guess Dan was supposed to buy the belt. Wound up not happening. Dave Milliken bought it, and then he wound up having it, and then he sold it to Conrad. So Conrad Thompson has the belt now.
Yeah, that's what I thought had the belt was Conrad.
Yeah, usually he's my go-to guess if I'm trying to figure out where something is, and as far as memorabilia goes, especially stuff involving Flair.
Yeah.
So yeah, the belt debuted in the summer. I don't know the exact date. First champion, of course, was Lex Luger. There you see it right there. This is when he was running with Harley
Yep.
and Mr. Hughes
Mr.
during his heel run.
Hughes.
Uh, I I wonder if Luger was the plan to win the belt because it always seemed like Sting would have been the guy. But around the time of the Bash, Sting was in this feud with Nikita, and Luger was the U.S. champion. So he wound up vacating that belt to be the World Heavyweight Champion. And the story goes that Flair offered Jim Herd to drop the title to Wyndham, and then Herd said no, and then he suggested Luger, and Flair said okay, and then Herd said fuck it, just go away. So it never happened, and it wound up being
Exactly.
Wyndham and Luger for the vacant title. Of course, Luger won. Harley interfered to establish himself as his manager, and then Luger had a decent run with this belt for about let's see, up until February, so 8 months or so.
Yeah.
Ballparking it. Had a really good match against Ron Simmons at Halloween Havoc.
And Halloween Havoc wasn't it 2 out of 3 falls?
Two out of three. Harley was in Luger's corner. Dusty was in Ron's corner,
Yep.
and that might be my favorite match with this belt if I had to pick. Uh,
Not
and
not a
of
bad
course,
pick.
yeah, there was no title match at Starrcade. A couple start of title matches at the clashes. Rick Steiner had a shot, if I remember right. Uh, Starrcade, he was in the Lethal Lottery, so they didn't do the title match. And then the outcome of the Battle Bowl at Starrcade was Sting eliminated Luger at the end of the Battle Royal. So then that segued into Sting getting his shot with Luger at Super Brawl, I believe Super Brawl 2, if my math is right.
Hmm. Yep.
And uh, and then yeah, so then Sting won the belt. And there you see it there. This is back when I enjoyed Sting, Mari. To be honest
Surfer
with you,
Stink. Yeah. Yeah.
Surf. I like Surfer Sting up through like when he first got the dark hair, but still had the face paint and the like this look. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you
Right around the
okay?
start of the
Okay. So
NWO.
so then you're talking like 92 to like early 96 then.
Like mid '96, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then
Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah.
it's an unpopular opinion. I kind of think he jumped the shark when he went Crow gimmick. Oh, hey,
It's made
Menders
him
is in the
right.
chat here. Hello, Menders.
Hey, Menders.
She had a I don't want to say a rough day, but she'll give you an update on her foot when we go live Tuesday. Uh,
Tuesday. Yeah. Exactly.
but Sting had, let's see, he won it in February, held it through the Great American Bash '92. I just watched that pay-per-view today. Uh, but he had some pretty good matches. Rick Rude, Koloff. Uh, Luger never got his rematch. He was gone. That was his last match with the company when he dropped the belt to Sting.
Yeah. Sure
And then
was.
yeah, and then of course the stuff he did with Cactus, which was kind of outside of Sting's comfort zone. The stuff he was doing with Cactus Jack in
Yeah, I mean,
'92.
but you know what? He hung with Cactus.
Yeah,
And I don't think it was a title match, but their Falls Go Anywhere match at Beach Blast '92 was a banger.
yeah. I think that was not title. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
yeah, that was very different for a major company in North America in the '90s.
exactly.
Uh, let's see. So Sting holds it till the Bash. Then he runs into this guy.
Oh,
Oh,
the human
to call
mastodon himself.
the Mastodon. Yep. I literally just finished watching this match about 25 minutes ago. Comes out with the big headdress on, the big Mastodon helmet. Uh, awesome match. I love. There's not a better monster heel in wrestling, I would almost say wrestling history than 1992 Big Van Vader.
Exactly.
Uh, after Hogan came in, kind of got watered down a little bit because Hogan wouldn't do the job for him, and then WWF is a whole other story. But like but that period when he was holding the world championship in like 92, 93, I mean, you couldn't imagine anybody like having a dominant win over Vader.
Nobody
It
was
was
going to
almost
have a
unheard of.
dominant win over Vader. He ran through the entire roster, whether it was a jobber or a top star. It didn't matter.
Yeah, but he still managed to make guys look good though. I mean, look at
Yeah,
this match I just saw with Sting. He's taking German suplexes from Sting. He's bumping for him. He made Sting look great, but then at the end he still overpowered him, power bomb, got the pin, looked just like a bulldozer.
exactly.
In
Well,
that
and
match.
and and one of Vader's favorite quotes is, "I'll make you look good, but when it's my turn, understand,
Mhm.
understand."
Uh, Hogan didn't understand.
No, he didn't understand. No, no,
Shawn Michaels didn't understand.
exactly. And in Hogan's case, with 100% creative control, he didn't have to understand.
Hmm. And yeah, it's although I did enjoy their cage match at Bash at the Beach
Yeah,
because it was the only time I ever saw anybody use the helmet as a weapon, and it was Hogan that did it. Hogan put the
exactly,
helmet on in the cage and headbutted Vader with it. I was like, why didn't more people do that? That thing looks
exactly.
like it was. Oh, hang on, Menders has comments. Back when hosses were hosses, this is true.
Yes, ma'am.
I, I still remember when he feuded with Big Bubba.
Yeah,
When
that
he
was a
first
good feud too.
he was the boss
The
because
boss, and then the guardian
he was trying to
angel.
do the yeah he tried to do the boss man gimmick. WWF I guess filed an injunction, so he had to get rid of
Shut
everything.
it down. I think what he showed up at Starcade, or I think it was something like that. He showed up. He showed up one pay per view appearance like that, and then yeah, it was shut down. No more of
Yeah,
this.
then he joined up with the Guardian Angels, which before he was in WCW, I didn't know that was a real group, but apparently they're a real thing in New York. But
Yeah,
and then I guess there's some legal mumbo jumbo with that. I guess using the name, I don't know. So then he went just to like he went back to Big Bubba Rogers, which was my personal favorite iteration of Ray Trailer was Big Bubba. You know,
exactly. The
going all the way
older I
back to when he was
got,
Corny's bodyguard.
yeah, the older I got, and the more stuff I seen, I was like, wait a minute, he was a badass as Big Bubba.
Yes. Let my wife know that I am currently live. She's asking for help carrying a bag, but I cannot get down there right now. Let's see. She has my sympathy. Uh, hopefully she's not listening. I would if I could. I try to be a good husband that way, but we have business, and like I said, we're on a time crunch today, so we're going. We're kind of we're trying to power through this here today. So
Exactly.
so Vader wins at the Bash. There's a whole chaotic situation that happens in August when Sting has a rematch scheduled, but he comes out to help Nikita. I think Rude jumped him or something. And then Jake Roberts comes out of the crowd out of nowhere and plants Sting with like two or three DDTs and leaves him laying. So Stinger can't challenge Vader for the belt that night. I think this was on. I forget what show. Was it a Clash? I forget exactly. It might have been on Worldwide. But
I don't remember
anyway,
either.
anyway, they decide to have a drawing of all the top contenders and pull a name out of a hat, decide who's going to challenge Vader. So you got Dustin Rhodes, Barry Windham, Rick Rude, all these guys in the ring, and then the name they pull out is Ron Simmons, and this is in Baltimore. I know this is Baltimore because D'Lo Brown has said he was there. He was in the crowd watching this, And on early August '92, and Ron Simmons won the heavyweight championship. He was the first African American world heavyweight champion in WCW
Yeah,
history.
yeah, yep.
And I
Me
love
and
the
my cousins,
finish.
we sat, yeah. Me and my cousins, we sat around and watched the videotape. Somebody had videotaped it and let us borrow it, and we watched that. And yeah, it was a hell of a moment. I still remember it. Yeah, love the finish as well too.
Yeah, everybody has their signature spots that they do in their matches. And Vader's, I think, was that like attempted leapfrog into the power slam spot where he would try to jump over somebody and they would catch. I think Sting
Yeah,
did it. I think Bulldog might have done it once or twice. Simmons did it. Of course, not everybody can pull that spot off with Vader. I mean, I don't think Flair could have. But yeah, Menders is right. Before damn, yeah, this is before Blue Helmet.
exactly. This is all American Ron Simmons.
Yeah, and I really post Doom Ron Simmons, but
Yeah,
uh, didn't hold it for very long. He was for until about the end of the year. He had some really good matches. I remember he had a banger with Dr. Death at Starcade '92.
yeah, he did. He did. He had a banger with Dr. Death, and he had a stinker with the Barbarian. But we won't talk about
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Uh, Eventually, Simmons lost the belt back to Vader. Uh, no real surprise there. And then Vader just he had a year in '93.
Yeah,
He
he
that
was like a hot knife through butter.
mhm. I mean, he had some damn good matches. We have like I said, I watched Slamboree '93 today, so that's a match. I forgot how good it was. Him against British Bulldog. Uh, Finish aside, there was no finish that they got thrown out, but the match itself was really good.
Exactly. And then I was telling you about he and Vader and Bulldog at that following Clash of the Champions, and they ended up having a finish to that match, but whew, man,
Yeah,
just the
and
way that Bulldog was throwing Vader around, like Jesus Christ, he was country strong.
right, yeah, he did that at WrestleMania later on too in that tag match, WrestleMania 13. Bulldog
Yeah,
when you see Bulldog put Vader up in that delayed vertical that he did, it's just blows your mind how strong that guy was. I mean, granted, I know recreational goodies, but still, he's a strong man.
exactly. He was a very strong
And
man.
are we going to talk about the Beach Blast video with the boat and Sid and Vader on the beach?
Oh boy, Dusty. Oh, I fell over.
Oh no, he's okay. Yeah, that was that the most ridiculous shit you ever saw in the early '90s. Uh-oh. Bari, I'm not hearing you. Did you mute yourself? Man. Up there you go.
How about now?
Yeah. All right, I got you now.
Okay, all right. No, that was some of the most ridiculous stuff, and that was just Dusty Rhodes wanting to make major motion pictures and sitcoms.
Now, if you listen to Shivani on his podcast he does with Conrad, that's more Turner than Dusty.
Oh, that was more
Like
okay.
I think it was Turner Television wanted to get a little cinematic with it, but the way they did it was just ludicrous.
Oh, right. Yeah, they did about right. They did about three or four of those cinematic deals, and I mean, they were the drizzling shits, but come on now.
They were dribbling.
Yeah, they were dribbling. They were dribbling.
Oh yeah.
Sting and Jake Roberts wasn't right. The Sting and Jake Roberts one wasn't too bad, but the other ones,
No,
yeah,
the finish of the coal miners glove match at Halloween Havoc was a little ridiculous with
it
the
was
Cobra
beyond
and
ridiculous. The snake that wouldn't
that's
bite.
right. And yeah, yeah. Less said about that, the better. Uh,
Exactly.
so yeah, so after Vader has his run with Bulldog, that's when he starts the run with Cactus. You talked about the match with Bulldog at the Clash. That's when Cactus came back after I think Vader had put him on the shelf for a while, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, they had a match on Saturday night, and Vader power bombed him on the outside. The head bounced off the concrete. Was the story.
Mm,
It
yeah,
gave him amnesia, and he didn't even know his wife.
he went up in Cleveland. I remember.
It's exactly.
Classic. And I think his son was Tony Schiavone's kid in that video.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget which one. He's got like 12 kids.
Right,
But
he's got so many kids.
I love Vader and Cactus's dynamic when they were wrestling each other. Uh, at Battle Bowl, they wound up being partners in the Lethal Lottery, which, you know, the angle writes itself. And it was actually a decent tag. They made for a decent tag team until the end of the match when they decided to start fighting each other.
Exactly.
Uh, let's see. Then, yeah, so after the Cactus feud, which for my money is my favorite feud that Vader had with the title,
Yeah, definitely.
even more than Sting. As much as I
Yeah,
enjoyed the stuff he did with Sting,
they
uh,
made spin the wheel, make the deal feel like something.
yeah, I still don't know what White Castle of Fear is, but you know.
I I have no idea.
But anyway, during Battle Bowl, they announced that at Starrcade, Flair was going to get a title shot at Vader. Flair put his career on the line in that match, and they had it in his backyard in Charlotte, I
In
think.
Charlotte,
Yeah, they really went all out on the build up on
they
this
went
match.
all out. Man, I remember I had Starcade '93 on VHS tape, and it was like watching. It was like an episode of watching, like, because they went from Flair's house to the limousine ride to the arena, and then they were showing Vader training and stuff, and there it was like
It was like
a movie.
it was a Rocky movie basically.
Yeah, yeah,
And Mean Gene was right there. He was
right
in the
there.
limo. You got to see a little Charlotte Flair in the house before he left, along with all the kids, of course. But and then this match, Mike Norgelinas loves this match, Flair and Vader. Uh, Vader got a little snug, as you can tell by the fact that Flair's grill's a little messed up in this picture.
And yeah, yeah, he hit Flair in the mouth, and Flair called him a son of a bitch.
In front of
Again,
it.
I've seen that match more than a handful of times. So yeah, yeah,
They told such a good story on that match. Uh, it was 10 years after the Flair for the Gold thing in '83, and it kind of mirrored it, like with the struggle and at the end of the match he won, and then with the family and everything. Uh, and then Flair was the last guy to hold this championship. He held it until I think June Clash
June
of
of
the Champions
'94. Yeah,
because
right when he and Sting
unified it.
unification. Yeah,
Yep, the WCW World and International World Heavyweight Championship unification match, and Sherry debuted on that night. She showed up. She was in Sting's corner, but then she turned on him and went with Flair. And yeah, and after that match, Flair retired this belt and just kept defending the big gold as the WCW World title, as it should have been,
rightfully so. Exactly.
rightfully so. And like we said, according to my research, Flair kept the belt and then might have selling it to collectors after about 20 years later. So yeah, so that's the lineage on this belt. There's not a long one. It's only a little over 3 years. You know, no big surprise there. But for as short as this belt was around, there was some pretty fun matches out of it. Now, I don't have a list of least favorite because, like I said, it's such a short period. There weren't a lot of bad matches for the belt.
No, it
The
wasn't.
Simmons and Barbarian is about the only one.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure I'll get people telling me other ones that I've forgotten about. But I admit, I only saw the clashes and the occasional pay-per-view of WCW. I didn't watch Saturday Night every week. I often wasn't home on Saturdays. But that's why I'm hoping the Peacock gets their shit together, puts the rest of the Saturday night episodes on there instead of just having like through '92.
Right, exactly.
Ah,
Because there were some
but
really good Saturday nights. I do remember a Saturday night um, TBS. I remember it was Vader versus Ricky Steamboat for the championship, and it was a really good match.
all but Steamboat sold like a champ on that match.
Oh yeah,
There
and
was a match.
I always remember it. Right, they're right doing Steamboat's promo. He said, "Vader, you're large as a barge, and I'm gonna stop you tonight."
Oh, Steamboat and his witty promos. Oh man, I love Steamboat. He
Yeah,
was he was a great baby face to put with a big monster like Vader.
exactly. or the snarky heel like Flair. You know, they always had
Right.
great matches.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or Austin. I mean, he made
Oh
Steve Austin
yeah.
really.
Oh God, yes. God, yes.
One of these days we'll get to the TV title on this show, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah. So as far as I have two lists here, Bari, because like I said, we got about a half hour to go before we're going to try and get out of here. So I think this will give us enough time. Greatest matches and favorite matches, and they're not the same matches on this, believe it or not. Because the greatest, I think, has a different category than the ones that hit you, like your favorite ones. You know what I mean? So just to run down my list of the greatest ones, Luger and Simmons, Halloween Havoc, 91, that 2 out of 3. Obviously Vader and Flair from Starrcade, that's got to be on there. Uh, Vader beating Sting for the first time at the Bash in '92. Uh, Maybe the greatest one, Flair and Steamboat from Spring Stampede '94.
God, yeah. That's
That
one
one,
that was on my list. Yeah,
e-
yeah.
everybody talks about the trilogy from '89. This match was just as good as any of those, and they wound up holding the belt up. I think it was a double pin in that match, and then they wound up doing the blow off on, was it Saturday night?
I think so, or
I forget.
right, or may
Maybe a
have been a
clash,
clash.
but
There's a
man,
thousand clashes out there, so
oh, I know. And they're in Roman numerals, which always gave Narch trouble on when he would do JTR with me, and we try to figure out which one it was. But no, that match was so good. Just, I mean, maybe my favorite rivalry in the history of wrestling is Flair and Steamboat for pure wrestling purposes. Then,
definitely.
because I mean, you gotta throw Tommy and Raven in there too. But, that's for an ECW episode. Uh, my last match on my greatest list is Sting and Vader from Super Brawl '93, which was
Oh, the strap match.
The strap match. Yeah,
Oh God, yeah,
just
yeah.
wore his ass out.
That was a damn bloodbath too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, that's the thing. Sting and Vader was a fun feud because Sting would get his ass whipped regularly, but for some reason people still bought into the idea that he could come back.
Yeah.
He never quite did though.
No, no, he didn't. But he gave it a
No.
hell of a try.
Yeah. It should be pointed out that at the Slamboree '93, when Bulldog was challenging Vader, Sting had a match with the Convict, who we remember as Nails,
Nails.
after he accused Vince of trying to sexually assault him in the locker
Yeah.
room in '92.
Oh boy, that's not even a thought I want to think about. But
That
really,
guy was a that guy was a piece of work.
a real piece of work.
Yeah. So, Bari, as far as like greatest matches, do you got any that stick out to you?
I mean, you've named all the ones that I really have on my list, and like I said, just this morning I just seen that clash with Davey Boy and Vader, and that was a damn good match. So that's about all I can really add to the list, really.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, Cactus and Vader at Halloween Heaven '93 was a beat down match.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Crappy finish, but it was a
Well,
damn good match.
that was kind of a common denominator for a lot of WCW back in the day. It was great matches, lousy finishes.
Exactly.
But that's neither here nor there. As far as my favorite matches for this belt, uh, I'm throwing Ron Simmons and Doc on here from Starrcade '92 because me, house fights, it'll be a house fight.
Exactly. And when you think about it, right, you had a couple of college offensive and defensive linemen going
Yeah,
at it in the ring, like so. Of course,
I
they were going to go hard.
I think Jim Ross said they played each other in the Orange Bowl one year, Florida State,
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
yeah. Florida State, Oklahoma. Yeah, yeah.
So I think there was always a natural rivalry between those two guys. And
Exactly.
Doc had already wrestled. He was in the Battle Bowl. He was
Battle
King of the
Bowl.
Lottery. It was him and Sting teamed up against Muda, or not Muda, Chono maybe. I forget who it was. I got to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I want to. I'm have to
But
go back and watch that too.
so Doc actually wrestled 3 times that night because he had the tag match, the title match, and then he was in the battle royal at the end. So so he was a busy guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yes. My number two, Sting and Luger in Super Brawl '92 when Sting won the belt. Is just for the rivalry and the story. It told a hell of a story between those two guys, going all the way back to like October of '91 when Sting lost the U.S. title.
Yep.
Flair and Wyndham from Slamboree '94. It was Colonel Parker's mystery opponent for Flair was, and he said he's
Yeah.
because
Okay.
because he said he was bringing in a 6'6" blonde guy, and he left it at that. So people were all speculating. I think he was trying to make people think it was going to be Hogan, although we all knew it wasn't going to be Hogan. And so yeah, they brought in Wyndham, and you've never seen Wyndham and Flair have a bad match.
Never.
I mean, he's one of those. He's one of those guys that Flair could wake up after a coma of 30 years and have a half-hour match and not call anything, and it'll still be great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's see, Luger and Rick Steiner from Clash of the Champions. This is the same clash where Sting got hurt and lost the U.S. title to Rude. But yeah, it's those two guys. It's another thing where guys are familiar with each other. And they had a tag match at Super Brawl the year before that was like I think Meltzer made a match of the year, Sting and Luger against the Steiners.
Against the Steiners,
So
yeah, I remember that.
yeah. Then my other one, I just talked about it earlier, Vader and the Bulldog from Slamboree '93. Uh, it's one of those that people sleep on because Bulldog wasn't there for very long. He's only there for a little over a year. But man, the matches he had with Vader were, and like I said, Vader would move around for him, which he didn't do for everybody. And Bulldog was just so legitimately strong. He never gorilla pressed Vader, but he did that delayed vertical, and he would give him body slams, and I think he maybe power slammed him once or twice too,
Yeah, I think he
which
powers.
is a
Yeah.
miracle. Just how he pulled that off, I'll never know. Just,
Right.
I mean, Vader was a legit 450 back then, and the thing about Vader's, he wasn't a fat guy. He was
No, it was
solid. He
solid. He
was
was solid.
is he to
You
call
don't see
Vader a
that
brick
anymore.
shit house is a service to brick shit houses.
Exactly, and right, and you don't find that shape and that thickness anymore in your super heavyweights.
The closest I've seen recently is Bronson Reed in
Yeah,
WWE
yeah,
because he's thick. He's not fat. He's a thick motherfucker.
yeah, exactly.
Otis to an extent, but he's a little more chubby.
Yeah, he's more round, more
Yeah,
robust,
more
if you will,
more rotund if you care to.
rotund, if you will. Okay, yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Any other favorites of yours, Barry, that I didn't mention here?
No, I mean we've named all the favorites and all the good ones. We really
Okay.
have.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, when it's a 3 year period, it's easy to truncate it all easily.
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah. The only other thing I have, well, top five champions to hold the belt, but there were only five guys that held the belts. So I guess we'll just rank them. Uh, number five, I'm going Ron Simmons number five. Uh, I would put Luger number four, Flair three, Sting two, Vader one. I think that's how I'd have to do it.
I'm gonna have that same order, but I'm gonna swap Luger and Simmons.
Okay, I can agree with that. Uh, yeah, I gotta look at this thing again. So, like I said, I think we're gonna do just fine with our time crunch, Bari. Uh,
Yeah,
so looking at this belt, and you see a lot of, you look at this and you see kind of similarities to like all of the belts. Like even the AEW World Title with all the logos on this belt, they do the same thing on the AEW belt. They
they
did the
sure
same
do.
thing on the, of
They let you know
course,
whose belt is this.
that's right. Of course, the Winged Eagle very similar, except no eagle. Uh, which I don't know why I never noticed that before I got a good look at the belt doing the research for this show.
Yeah, no eagle, but you can see the eagle influence.
Oh yeah, definitely. Got the big globe on there. Yeah, it definitely looks like a world championship. And if there was never another, if the big gold went away forever, this would have been a great substitute. for that
This
belt.
would have been fine. Exactly. I don't know how they would have spray painted NWO on it, but it would have been okay.
They would have had to use like silver paint over the WCW on the top of the main plate, maybe. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we've seen too much spray painting of title belts lately, if you ask me. But it's that's neither here nor there.
Right. No comment.
No. All right. Well, Maury, since I picked this belt, I think it is up to you to choose our next subject for our next episode.
All right. Well, on the spot here. uh, let's see. Let's do a deep dive on the WWE Tag Team Championships from 2002 to 2009. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Oh, the SmackDown with the blue ones.
Yes, the blue belts.
Okay, I was making sure because they had two new belts in 2002, and
Right, and those were
which I
and those were just the WWE Tag Team, and then the Raw belts were the World Tag Team belts.
right, and I love both of those belt designs. I think I liked
Same
the
here.
Raw ones a little better, but those SmackDown belts were sharp though.
We're sharp, exactly. I need to find a set somewhere.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well I think we could definitely pull that off. I'm bummed I don't have the belts to display during the episodes. I wish I had a bigger belt collection, but
Right. Same here. Same
it is what
here.
it is. What it is. I mean,
One day.
I've got the Strike Force tag belt down here, but I don't have the more recent ones.
Right. And right, and that belt you have right there is a sweet belt as well.
Hmm. But we'll
Yes.
definitely do an episode on that one someday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's got a rich history right there itself.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it sure does. What? I don't know what this means, Menders. Jerks would have found a way. It could mean anybody.
Yeah. What are you talking about, dear?
What you talking about, Menders? As Arnold Jackson would say. Well, Barry, we're coming in right around 40 minutes. I think that's a good time. So we got time to get settled in. It's going to be a very special SmackDown tonight that we're both looking forward to watching.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
And
grab me a snack and grab me a few drinks and sit down and enjoy the show and probably drop a
yeah,
tear or two.
spray paint the belt. Yeah, Minders is right. They would have found a way to spray paint the belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that they're doing just a full-on tribute to Bray on this episode of SmackDown. Kind of the way they did with Eddie or with Owen when he passed. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Bray the first person from the active roster to pass since Eddie, or since Benoit, then Eddie?
Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy.
It
But
really is.
yeah, well, let me pay some bills real quick, Barry, before we get out of here.
All right.
ProWrestlingTees.com/JTRPod. So you got T-shirts from Jumping the Rail, the 0-1 Shootout, and that's it on there. But there's a few of the options that we have. BrainbusterTees.com/other/JTR-podcast-network. Get some more stuff from both those shows. Plus, we got our Gold Rush T-shirt down here at the bottom. We call them belts because we do. Then yeah, and then we got that's just a few of the T-shirts we have. We got hoodies, caps, T-shirts, fanny packs, stickers, all kinds of stuff on Brainbuster there. So
All
go check
types of
that out.
stuff. Definitely go check it out.
Yeah, yes, yes, and yeah. So in 2 weeks we will be back and we'll talk about the WWE Tag Team Championships from SmackDown in the early 2000s. Well, I guess just through the 2000s. They were gone by 2010. But
Yeah.
Bar, you got anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, hey, we did the damn thing and we'll do the damn thing in 2 more weeks.
That's right. And don't forget to join us Tuesday on Jumping the Rail for a special tribute to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. It should be a lot of fun. We might even have a couple of special guests jumping in with us. So until then, for Bari, this is Reb, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.